Hey folks, Fernando doing a video for the Modern Survivalist, and I've always been playing with the idea of having the perfect little keychain EDC. What are the minimum tools I want to have in my keychain at all times, and tweaking that over the years. And by over the years, I mean several, almost a couple of decades now, maybe. This is basically a setup I've had for as long as I can remember. It's always been a mini champ, a flashlight of some sort. This one is a through night T, which is a little bit brighter, and a peanut lighter, and a mini, one of these mini pry bars, a surprise stuff. This is what I've had for several years, upgrading flashlights, and whenever the mini champ wore out, change for something new or whatever. But basically, this is the setup I've always had. This is a little bit heavy. I still have it with me, and I use it, but I also understand that for some people it's more of a priority to have something lightweight, or they simply do not care enough to drag around something as heavy as this. They will go with something that is a lot lighter or nothing at all. So always tweaking with what would be the perfect, what would be the minimum requirement, the ideal minimalistic setup. I think that that's here. This is it. For me, this is about as perfect as it gets in terms of something minimalistic, but that I'm still getting a minimum set of tools and a flashlight. For me, the flashlight is a very big deal. I'm not exactly old, but old enough to remember the days when this was a good flashlight. The mag light was king of flashlights, of incandescent flashlights, and these were not bright at all. They would just go through batteries like dinner, and the bulb would also burn, so you had a spare bulb to change every once in a while, every few weeks or a couple months maybe if you use it often. But they kind of suck. They actually suck quite a bit. I also remember when the first cool bright LEDs came out, and we were all looking for those. These are for 4.7s, no longer being made, but the revolution was definitely there. Today you have some fantastic flashlights, and I wanted to get something that was very compact, a flashlight that was very tiny yet made better use of this kind of technology, and not just go with something like this, one of these LED lenser, mini flashlight. This is something that my wife kept in her keychain for quite some time. It's okay. It uses those little batteries, but something better had to be out there, and I think this is it. If you know of anything better, or that you like more, or that you think is even a better idea, let me know in the comment section. I always like reading those. So in this case, this is a Clarus 1T. It's made out of titanium, which I like. Titanium just doesn't have this happen to it. It doesn't wear and looks kind of crappy like aluminum does. And this one is using a 1080 lithium-ion battery, which comes included with a flashlight, so that's very nice as well. You don't have to buy an extra battery, and besides that, you don't have to bother with batteries at all, because it is rechargeable with a micro USB port. It's using Cree XPG3, which it's pretty cool technology. It's pretty bright. You have with a full charge, which takes about 45 minutes to fully charge, you have 130 lumens on the maximum output on the high mode. That goes for 24 minutes. And then it goes into the low mode. You can use the low mode of 8 lumens for about 5 hours. 5 hours is very decent for this kind of light. I'm not so sure about the lumen brightness, though, because is this 8 lumens? I mean, could be, yeah, probably is. That's what the specs say. When you go to the maximum output, you get those 130 lumens. This is the maximum output. The thing I don't like all that much is what you just saw. Then you kind of have to tweak a little bit to switch between those two, so as to get to that sweet point, because it's a twisty flashlight you have those two setups built in as you tighten it, and then you have to loosen it up a bit. That is kind of not ideal. I wish they would have done with something like this, which is more simple and just feels better, and I'm kind of more used to it, and I believe it's more reliable as well. In spite of that, it's a flashlight that it allows you to use a good amount of power, of lumens, and you have that extra brightness output if you ever need it. even though it's kind of hard to tweak and find it exactly. The one I'm mostly using is the low one. You know, the low mode is the one I use the most often, and I charge it every few months, really. I always have a decent flashlight in my pocket, so it doesn't get a lot of use, but being in my car keychain, it does get used every once in a while. I think this is as ideal as it gets in terms of minimalistic keychain EDC for someone that says, I don't want to have any crap in my keychain. Okay, but this is, you know, nothing. And you still have a very decent flashlight made out of titanium. This is in Amazon right now for 39 bucks. Supposedly they have just 3 left. In theory, that's what I just checked in the link. I leave the link below, as I always do for this kind of stuff that I'm doing in reviews. And in terms of tools, I love the Mini Champ, but I'm very much liking the Manager. And you have the Midnight Manager, which has a little light. That would be maybe the most absolute minimum setup that you can have, which is a little Manager Victorinox with a shield that you press it and you have a little light here on the side. I don't feel that I need that as much, given that I'd rather have an actual dedicated flashlight, and instead what I have here is a pen that I wouldn't have otherwise, and it has come in handy in more than one occasion. Then you have your tweezers that you always have in these little mini tools, and one of the tools I like the most from the Mini Champ, the Phillips screwdriver, cap lifter, wire stripper. On the other side you have your blade, which is, you know, tiny but cuts, as we all know. Make good stuff. Victorinox is well known for that. You have your small flat screwdriver and nail file, and you have the beloved scissors that always come in handy every once in a while. This is fantastic. This is the setup that I would recommend. A small tool and a small flashlight. The only kind of tweak I would make for someone that doesn't carry an actual multi-tool in his pocket like I always do, maybe change this one for a PS4. The PS4 is like this, and maybe some, giving that you have actual tweezers, an actual decent plier in the tool, which is amazing how compact they managed this to be. This could be one of the alternatives, but keep those in mind. Guys, that's all for this video. Keep in mind that my books are still in Amazon, my latest book, Street Survival Skills, and these two, which are still in promotion for a couple days now at a very nice discount. My first book, Modern Survival Manual, and Bugging Out and Relocating, also with the links there below. Guys, have an awesome day. See you in our next video.